Welcome to the Cookbook, where we invite guests on to share the ingredients of what has helped make them the successes that they are. All of it, the good, the not so good. You're not going to find anything half-baked here. And our kitchen gets messy sometimes. That's when the fun starts. So come on and join us. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Cookbook. I'm your host, Iris Goldfeder, and oh my God, today I have like one of my new favoritist people in the world on, if she's not like the favorite person right now of mine. And Michelle, I'm just letting you know now, get out your bottle of wine. This is not going to be safe for work. So I'm going to read her bio and bring her on. Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. And again, we're going to have to, I want to know about that name, is one part fearless entrepreneur, one part fearless women's advocate, landing her thought leadership pieces in Forbes, Boston Business Journal, and at SXSW. Say that 3 times fast. You have to tell me what that is. For the first 15 years of her career, she was an award-winning tech marketer in both Austin and London. Oh, see, I didn't know that either. Okay, we're going to learn so much about her, and I'm going to learn so much about her today. Ashley's unstoppable drive to have both a career and time for family motivated her to start Prowess Project, an integrated job training and community platform that exists to help caregiving women return to the workforce as online business managers. The proprietary tech pairs job seekers and employers based on professional skills and behavior compatibility. To date, 70% of the trained women get hired in 3 months. That's pretty damn good. In her pretty much non-existent spare time, she enjoys walks with her baby girl and bulldog yoga. Oh no, not her bulldog yoga, and bulldog yoga and spaghetti and meatballs, and probably talking to me now. So without further ado, let's meet Ashley. Your bulldog yoga.
Never once have I listened to someone read my bio and I have tears streaming down my face. I'm laughing so hard.
Oh. I'm looking at it going, and her bulldog and yoga. Okay, we'll separate those two.
Oh man, Iris, this is going to be fun.
This is, and I'm just going to, one more disclaimer. So my friend Michelle, and her boss knows now. There's a thing called Bravo of the Arts here. So I was sitting at their table, and Stephanie was like, "What's your podcast?" And then I told her, and she said, "Oh, that's right, Michelle." I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry, she can't listen to it at work a lot." And so, they both started laughing. So that's why I gave the disclaimer for this one, because I already know where we're going, and Michelle's going to get really drunk. So my friend Michelle listens to it, every week. And I've been really, really good for like the past probably 2-3 months. So now I'm breaking my streak.
Well, bottoms up, Michelle.
There you go.
Bottoms up.
I have like so many things I want to ask you. I am going to ask you about Prowess Project, but first tell us about Ashley. Like, how did you, with all the, all of the things, how did you get to do what you're doing?
Yeah, all the things. So I started my career, as you said, and I barely heard because I was laughing so hard, as a tech marketer. And so I was always in these small companies. And I found that my boss would always hand me all of the projects, and it was my job to figure out if it was going to sink or swim. So she called me the real life guinea pig. And I did this over and over and over again for all the different marketing projects, so much so that the business was opening in Europe. And they sent me over to London to open the European office. And so from there, helped run that continent and did go to market there, came back to the US. By the way, Europe has it going on. Like, I learned so much. My mind opened to possibilities and a world that I could never have even imagined. I'm so grateful for that time.
Wow.
Travel is amazing. Mm-hmm. Everyone, if you take one thing from this podcast, travel is amazing.
I mean, it opens you up to different cultures.
Yes.
So you don't have to be a racist asshole. Sorry.
Exactly.
I'm just really going to go there because if people would get out of their bubble and see other cultures and all of the other things, I mean, your mind would open up. It wouldn't be closed, and you would be. And I can't believe I just went there, but I did. So anyway,
well, I grew up in a very conservative household. We were conservative because our parents were conservative, whose parents were conservative, whose parents were conservative. Right. And you just did that. And everyone else did that we grew up with. And then going over there, I was like, oh, wait, there's a lot of other ways that people live and you can get stuff done. And it just really rocked my world in the best way.
Cool.
Really did. So came back, womp womp, and
womp womp. Yeah. There you
go. Started a tech marketing agency with 2 other guys, and
Wait, so you left your boss?
Left my boss.
So what did she say? Like, she must have been very sad.
She was very sad.
Yeah.
She was. I called her my real life fairy godmother. So great story about her. She's an advisor for Prowess Project now, but on our interview, she no-showed me. And I was like, okay, bitch, where you at? Like, like, okay. So she calls me about, I don't know, 2 hours later. It's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I completely lost track of time. I know we can't go get coffee, but how do you feel about margaritas? And I was like, tell me when and where. I'm taking off my heels and I'm taking off this silly sports jacket because that's what in college that they tell you need to wear for interviews. And showed up, we had margaritas. I told her my dream was to move to Europe one day. And then behind the scenes, for years in the making, she built my path to make it happen.
Wow.
Jen Slasky Halligan, I love you. You're the best.
Jen Slasky Halligan, I love you too now because you did an awesome thing for my friend Ashley. So go ahead.
So started this agency and we made every mistake in the book and ultimately failed. We had one massive client. It was really our whale. And I get a phone call at noon that they were breaking up with us. They're ending our contract. That morning, I had the idea of Prowess Project. It was so serendipitous. I can't even. I cannot even. And then there's Prowess.
So where did the name come from?
So name came from 2 different things. I started Prowess Project because, quite frankly, I was pissed off. I looked up at all of the leaders in all the businesses that I was working with, including my own, and they were all men. And I was like, why is that? And so I went and asked all the women who were kind of at my level or in my cohort. And I'm like, hey, you go up for that next promotion, or hey, take on that extra project. And I'm like, Ashley, I can't. Either I'm about to have kids and I'm going to leave the workforce, or I have kids and I can't take on anything else. And so they're not going to promote me. They're going to promote the guy who is going above and beyond and doesn't have to leave at 5 p.m. to pick up kids at daycare.
And why the hell is that? But anyway,
yeah,
I know. I'm just saying.
I'm right there with you.
We're here to start shit. This is going to be the official shit stir episode of the cookbook.
Amazing.
We are stirring up. We're cooking up some shit. Okay, go ahead.
So I was pissed. And I went to Google and found the horrific Harvard Business Review statistic that in the US, 43% of educated, experienced women leave the workforce, are pushed out because they can't have both a career and take care of children. And then if they try to return in just 3 years, they lose a total of 37% of their compensation power forever. Forever.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 37%.
That's bullshit. Okay. Wow.
It's insane.
Wow.
But the kicker to me, and this was the light bulb moment for me, was 97% would return to work if they had access to flexible jobs. 97. They would all return. They would all return. And
that's why it's happening, is because they're allowing it to happen. I'm not saying where, there because no.
And so all they need is removed from 9 to 5 butts and seats.
Mm-hmm.
All they need to be, they need a hybrid work schedule. They need all remote. They need, hey, I can work at 2 a.m. and I can work at, 11 a.m. and I can work at, and it needs to be up to them. And
right.
So with all of this, quite frankly, I don't know, probably hatred isn't the right word, but I was just pissed. I was just furious. And went out and talked to, no joke, thousands of women who were in this scenario who, like I said, educated, experienced, took time off, trying to get back in. All of them are like, Ashley, I can't even get an interview now. Or if I can, people want me to work for free. And I'm like, are you joking me? You have a PhD. And like, yeah, I know. They want me to work for free.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So gives you a little backstory on Prowess. Reason why we named it Prowess Project. First project, our goal is to help women in the workforce. We want the workforce to evolve around women and bring in some of that feminine energy that and strength that is so needed and will help us as a whole. So that's where the project comes from. I don't know if that's ever going to quote unquote finish, so it's ongoing. But prowess is what I love.
That's
prowess.
what I was, yeah.
The first definition of prowess is a skill or a talent. The second definition of prowess is bravery in battle. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, that's like chills. This is amazing.
Nice.
And so, yeah, Prowess Project it was. We're helping all the women out there really do their thing on their time and have it all.
See, and I think the thing that kills me with it, so, I mean, I have a wife, so it's a little bit, probably different because, we can't really, it doesn't matter who stays home or whatever, because
right.
It's the same thing, right? But for the hetero families,
sure,
where there is a male and a female partner, why the hell can't, why does everything have to fall on the woman? I mean, I'm going to get on the soapbox here because that to me it's bullshit. I mean, we have to worry about, the man's career, I'm going to drop it first, fuck it. It's not fair. What about your wife's career? Why does it have to be about you? I just started watching the show with Brie Larson. Like we watched the first episode. Yes. Right?
Chemistry, physics,
something in chemistry, something with, oh my God, I have to Google it. Okay. Brie Larson, I love you. Yes. So, but lessons in chemistry, I think.
That's it. I love it. Yes.
And, she's clearly something, like I only watched the first episode, so I have no idea, but I can, just from all of their foreshadowing, I could pretty much tell what happened. But the way that they were treated in the 50s, and here's this clearly brilliant woman.
Right.
And they're like, honey, get me a coffee. What?
Mm-hmm.
Honey, while you're there, get me a coffee. Oh, and if you ever do this again, if you ever make me look bad again, you're fired. Hey, asshole, how about maybe stop making yourself look bad? But that's like a whole, like, even when I was, and every time I say corporate, they're like, no, don't make corporate a dirty word. It's not, corporate is needed for a reason, but there is a male hierarchy in there and they can be assholes. Well, it is. I mean, female, anybody in a position of power, right, can be an asshole. But I think that at the end of the day, when you have bosses and not leaders, that's where the problem is. And I think now there are more leaders than there were, to be fair. Because people are becoming aware of it. That's why there's executive coaches and all that stuff, right? To coach them. But if they don't get coached and they still have that mindset that, well, I'm your boss and you're going to do what I tell you. No.
Well, and you know what the difference is? It's empathy. 100% it is empathy.
That's why we need a matriarchy and not a patriarchy.
Oh, did you know that female CEOs have 18% more revenue on average than male CEOs?
I believe it. Because they care about people. Some of them.
Some of them, and yeah, we're talking in general, very general terms. Have I had some amazing male leaders? Yes, of course. Mm-hmm. It would be silly to say that I haven't. But if you're looking at the data, women are 89% more likely to show empathy than men. This is just data.
Yeah.
And so,
because of how men are raised.
Exactly.
Right. Because it goes to you're a man, you can't cry. You're a man, you can't do this. And it's like, which is you can.
Equally as ridiculous. And we as women have a part to play in that because we're raising these men. Right. So it's a generational thing, or it's a societal thing. It's not male versus female. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not. Even though we are so pro women with this business, if a man came to us and was like, hey, I am a career returner, or hey, I want a more flexible career and I want to be an online business manager, I would welcome him with open arms. Of course. Of course.
Yeah. You know? I mean, and it's not men versus women, but did you see Barbie? Have you seen that yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that to me was like right on. Because as soon as you know what, by the time this airs, the movie's going to be out. So I'm going to spoil it a little. So spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear it, put it on. I'll go like this when I'm done, and then you can, pop back on. But, in Barbie Land, it was a matriarchal society.
Yep.
And everybody was kind. And yes, Barbie was a little bit of an asshole to Ken, but, because whatever. But, as soon as he got a taste of, oh my God, and here the men rule everything. Mm-hmm. And then he brought that back to Barbie Land, that the men are going to rule everything. It did two things. So it painted guys as pompous assholes, number one, which not everybody is. And we know that.
Correct.
But what I loved was the message at the end where that we can come together. And it doesn't have to be that men are better than women or women are better than men. We're people, period. Correct. And if you're a guy, you can cry. And if you're a chick, you know what? You can be freaking tough.
Yes.
It doesn't, run like a girl. Yeah, bitch, watch me run like a girl.
Watch me win like a girl too in this race. So let's go.
My nephew's ex-wife, anyway, whatever I don't know what they are, but she's a producer and she did a Nike commercial, Run Like a Girl.
Oh, amazing. Yes. Yeah. I remember it.
And it's all, that's what it is. It's like, yes, do this like a girl, throw like a girl, Yep. Some guys, throw like guys and it's not that good. So it's like, instead of society making everything that men do things better than women, we're going to be stuck in this cycle. And I think that now we're starting to kind of come out of it. Granted, we've gotten thrown back about 50 years, but, hopefully we'll get that back, sooner rather than later. But
someone said this and it just, I don't know, is burnt into my brain now. At work, when we think of things that males do, it is compensation worthy. When we think of things that typically women do, it is compliment worthy. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, she was so nice in the meeting. She was really making sure that, so-and-so was heard. Thank you, Susie. But a typical masculine trait would be to, and I say dominate the meeting, and I don't mean it in a bad way. I just mean speak up and share ideas and all of that. Mm-hmm. They're looked as leaning forward and, they're on the partner track, right? Right. And they get compensated for it. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, wow. Oh my gosh. And again, it's not male or female. It's almost like masculine traits versus feminine traits. But anyway, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And I think that like where you just said, Susie, that was very, wonderful, whatever. What stopped him from saying, hey, Susie, that was really powerful?
Totally. Right. Nothing.
I mean, I've been in meetings so I'll tell you that. So years ago, when I first started this business, I'm in Lafayette, Indiana. I had a partner, and it was in name only. Everything is in mine. The the LLC, all the stuff is in my name in Indiana, and he was in Illinois. Anyway, so I had a meeting with this company, and I walk in and I have my laptop and my projector because I'm going to do this presentation. I always bring one just in case, somebody didn't have one. I don't do that shit anymore, but I did. And I'm setting everything up, and he goes, "Hey, so when's the owner going to get here?" And I said, "I am the owner. I mean, you know this." And he goes, "Yeah, but you have a male partner. So, when's he getting here?" And I went, "He's not. I own the company. I'm here to present to you." And he wouldn't stop. He said, "Yeah, but, basically, when's the guy going to get here?" So his partner was looking at him like, "Dude, shut up." Like he's literally, and then he finally mouthed, "Shut the fuck up." And I looked at him, and then he goes, "Oh, honey, calm down." And I went, and I'm like plugging my thing in, right? And I went, "He did not just call me honey." And I said, "Honey?" And his partner was like, and I can't say his name because people listening will know who it is, but his partner was like, "Seriously, like, do you hear yourself?" And he goes, "Come on." And he fucking walked up to me and put his arm around me and said, "Honey, don't get your panties in a bunch." And I said, "Get your fucking hands off of me." And I got, out from under him. And I said, "You condescending asshole.
Yes.
This is done." So I unplugged everything and I said, "I'm really sorry. This is absolutely not going to work." So I leave. So I call my partner and I said, "Yeah, we're not getting the account because the guy's a complete dick and, whatever."
Yeah.
So his partner calls me like 4 hours later and he's like, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. We really, really want to work with you and you don't have to deal with him. You'll only have to deal with me." And I said, "No."
Yeah. And
he said, "Why?" I said, "Because if you, God forbid, I'm not wishing you on this, but if you get hit by a bus tomorrow, I'm stuck with him." And no.
And at the end of the day, by being associated with him,
right,
he is saying that behavior is okay, whether or not he believes that personally.
Right. And I wasn't even looking at it like that. I was literally looking at it. If he gets hit by a bus, I'm stuck with the asshole. I didn't even. I just didn't even look at it like that. But you're 100% right.
Yeah.
So it was done, and then we saw each other at a chamber meeting like 2 years later, and I heard him say something like, "Man, we were going to work with her, but she's so sensitive." And I was like, not his partner, him. And I was just like, "I'm not walking over there. I've grown. I'm not walking over there." And I didn't, but I was just like, thank God, like I dodged that bullet because it was in the beginning and we really needed the money.
Yeah.
But I was like, no money is worth that. And as soon as he put his hands on me, he's so lucky.
100%. I'm so glad that we are having this conversation because I guarantee every single woman who is listening to this is nodding their head and being like, "Yep, I have about 5 stories just like that." And I think it's so important that the men who are listening too are like, "Oh my gosh, I was just joking around, but now I understand what that feels like."
And I hope they're horrified by hearing it. Like, oh my God, like if you've ever done that to the guys out there, to the guys listening, I implore you, if you have ever done that before, don't do it again.
Don't do it again. I mean, hell, reach out to her and apologize and be like, "Wow, that was completely out of line." Or if you're a man who hasn't done that before, but you've witnessed it, now like, hey.
Say something, or people are going to think that you're complicit.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, 100%. I know. It's like, gosh, and women now, and we're in the dames, right? And so the dames is this group, and you guys hear me talk about it, or you people hear me talk about it all the time because it's a networking group, but it's not about selling to each other, which I love. You don't talk to somebody and be like, "Hey, buy this," or "Hey, I want to buy," whatever. It's a group of women empowering women. And really it's phenomenal. That's exactly, and you can be vulnerable. You can have a shitty day and cry, and you can, or you could have the most amazing day and share. It doesn't matter, right? We're all here for each other. And I think that we need more of that. We need more of because women are so good at knocking each other down, which I don't get. Like I've never understood that. And, then we're in a group like this where we would never let anybody, if we saw that, we'd be like, bye, Felicia, you're out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then when you think about it, why women are so ready to knock each other down, it's because, again, that's how we were programmed. There was one seat at the table for a woman, and if someone else had it, that means you didn't. Yeah. And so you're just programmed. And it's so fucked up. And I'm so glad that there are more organizations that are like, whoa. Abundance mindset. There is plenty of business to go around. There is plenty of money to go around, plenty of happiness and gratitude and all the different things. And to me, what has been so amazing about the Dames, and this wasn't supposed to be a Dames commercial, but it sounds like it's going to turn into.
But it's okay because, it's a great group. And we're in it, group. So that should be commercial enough. Okay.
Exactly. But I have never met a group of women who were both like woo-woo, passionate, intentional, positive, grateful, and successful, business-oriented, sharp as all get out. Like it usually leans one way or the other. In this group, I don't know how the universe has put us all together, but I've been beyond blown away.
Yeah.
Blown away about how well-rounded these women are.
Everybody. So I started, and I don't know if we talked about this, but like when COVID hit, we bought a new house and, the house tried to kill me. Literally, like I would walk into a room, the door would open and I would like walk into it. I'd be, there's like a bathroom upstairs. I would walk into the bathroom. The door would like the cabinet door would open up. I would like flip over it. I'm not a young kid. Like when I go down, it's kind of hard to get back up. And then I would like walk out into the like garage and shit would fall off the shelves.
Oh my God.
And like my wife thought I was insane. And I said, I'm telling you, look, I just want to show you the time on here. 4. Holy shitballs. Anyway, thank you. So with that said, we were going out to dinner one night because there was like a couple of restaurants that we would go to here during COVID. And I think it was our anniversary. And I walk in the garage and we had dog food like pushed back on the shelf and a can flew off and hit me in the head. And I mean, it like beamed me on the side of my head. And she was like, I said, do you believe me now?
Yeah.
So long story short, I end up trying to figure out what's going on. And I speak to like this person who I went, with to Reiki, and she goes, well, there's a spirit there, but he's been with you your whole life. So that's not what it is. Yeah. I have like this little boy who protects mine. Anyway, that's for another time for another, that's when we do our wine in Zoom. So I was like, something's going on. So then I found out that basically I needed to stop ignoring, my gifts and all that stuff. And I need to lean into them. Otherwise, the universe is pretty much telling me it's time. You have to stop suppressing shit. So I did. Ever since I did that, I have been meeting like everybody. And I mean, every single person that I have met in the past 3.5 to 4 years has been into woo, has been on the same journey that I'm on, has like all of it. And it's just like, okay.
Magnetic, it seems. Like it's truly magnetic.
And it's been amazing. And the Dames was like this crazy thing because I went to the round table and I was like, yeah, I can't be in, like, I'm not at that income level. Yeah. And then the next day I get a call from my bank client and they're like, guess what? Bam. And it was like, so I called Megan and I went, I emailed her. I was like, you're not going to believe this. And here I am. So, but it's been like, it's been unbelievable. And then, meeting people like you're like dynamic and and it was funny because we saw each other for like a minute and it was like crap because everything was like so, so fast. But meeting people that I've been talking to for 2 years, Jen Koken and, Fabienne was my coach for 6 months and Megan I already met. So that was like old hat already, but just like the people that I hadn't met. And it was just like, the energy was the same and even more amplified in person than it is online. And each person was just wonderful. There was not one person in there that the connection just wasn't true and real. And how the hell do you do that?
It's unbelievable. It's truly unbelievable. And it really inspired me because I realized I didn't really explain what an online business manager is and what the women who come into our community and training and job stuff do. So just like there are CEOs out there who are visionaries and love to coach and speak and do their craft, there's also what's called an integrator. And that's the person who takes all the amazing ideas that the CEOs have and the visionaries have, and they make it all happen. So they are doing the systems, they're doing the implementation, they're doing the technology to make it faster. They're looking at all of the financials. They're doing project management. They're managing the team. While again, the visionaries out there go doing her own thing. The integrator is what we call online business managers. And I'm tying this back because I know that we can create our own version of community just like the Dames have, but where the Dames is for these visionaries, we can create it for these integrators so that you can have such a compatible, strong, powerful pair of the idea person and the get shit done person.
Wow. That is awesome. So let's talk about online business managers and how you ladies, help CEOs.
Well, what was amazing about this is in my, 1,000 conversations with women returning to the workforce, what I heard from almost all of them was, Ashley, the reason why I have such a hard time getting back in is because I have a patchwork quilt background. I'm like, tell me more. And like, I've done some sales, some operations, some tech, some marketing. And so someone looks at my resume, a recruiter, and they're like, well, this isn't a career path. And then, so they're telling me all of this, plus all of the empathy and emotional intelligence and teamwork and all of that they had by being a caregiver. It makes the perfect OBM because you have to understand the entire business. You have to have flexing communication skills because you're talking to everyone and need to make everyone work together. Right. It was just, again, another light bulb moment that I had that was just amazing. So really, that's what these women do. They are the right hand, the thought partner for the CEOs.
That's amazing. And CEOs need that. I mean, when I get to like a certain, level, I'm calling you because I really mean it. I get stuck, not in the everyday, I have a VA for that, but there's only so much that, she can do. And then, I work with contractors, so I pretty much farm a lot of this stuff out, but I have to manage the project. I have to keep everything organized. I have to keep myself organized, which, oh my God, that's like a whole nother story. And then when I do come up with an idea or I'm like, oh my God, I have nobody to bounce it off of to implement it. Right. And so I see the value in it, like 1,000%.
Well, and Iris, like, you need to be out speaking. You need to be out sharing your gift. I mean, you're so fun. You're so it's so
I promise I didn't pay her to say this yet, but go ahead.
No, and so like, whether it's an OBM or, business partner, whomever, I would love to see you just doing that. I'm sure you're a great project manager too. I'm sure you're good at that, but I don't know if that's really where your passion lies. And so
it's weird. It kind of, so I like puzzles.
Oh, interesting.
I love puzzles. And this to me is a puzzle. Somebody needs a website. Somebody needs support. Somebody needs this. So I kind of get to go, ooh, I can move this here, like Tetris, right? How do I make this fit? Usually I don't have like the deadline of 10 seconds where it's like, I have to make this fit now. I can give myself a little bit of time. But, I do enjoy that. And one of the things I was thinking of was, because I do enjoy speaking as well. So I'm probably going to do that and keep this going. And I'm trying to see what that looks like for next year. But I know that, I'm under a non-compete right now, and I have no problem saying that. And when it ends in April, because, a few months away, I'm going to change things, and things are going to be like relaunched. And I know I'm going to be busy as hell then. And so, between the speaking that I'm starting to do, I've had one speaking gig. I got amazing feedback. Thank you, Jennifer Radke from National Institute of Social Media. Yes. And she was also on, the podcast, which is how that whole thing started. But one of my biggest loves is like talking about accessibility and why it's so important, because people don't think about it. So, I'm like passionate about so many things, and it's like, okay, I know I can't do all the things. So I kind of have to figure out, what the main thing is going to be, and then what the feeder is going to be. And that's kind of what I'm doing now for the next, 5-6 months.
Oh, amazing. Accessibility is huge. I'm so glad that, and maybe this isn't the case, but I'm hearing about it more and more. Mm-hmm. And that makes me really, really happy. I don't know if it's just the circles that I'm in, but as again, you can imagine, a lot of the women who are coming to us, they're taking care of people, sure, but then maybe there is a difference in their lifestyle or whatever it is that they do need the accessibility, and they do, and they can relate to that.
Yeah.
And so being remote and having a flexible schedule is so needed for them.
Right.
And the more we talk about it, and the more opportunities, and the more people are doing their website with accessibility in mind.
Yes, that's like the whole. So, I'm working with somebody now, and she does coding. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I said was, we need to start, coding the websites for accessibility. Accessibility is great. It's a wonderful tool. I use that on every website. However, it only does so much, right? You need the coding. You need the stuff done on the back end. And a lot of people don't, they don't realize that. So for me, it's like this big red flag that DEIAB does not include disability. What the hell? It doesn't. And so when you think about it, it's like, okay, the D is for diversity. How the hell do you not include disability and diversity? Because, I think it's like what, 20% of the population are disabled.
Yeah. In
some way, shape or form, right? So it's like, why would you leave them out? Why would you, because if your website isn't accessible, they're going to go somewhere that it is. And then you're going to lose the business. So if you want to, not look at it from the humanitarian, point of view, which you should, just from, right morality, but look at it from a business point of view, you're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Well, and that 20%, like my mind is exploding right there. That's your business right there. 20%, like
it's a lot of people, but like globally, right? So and then you have to figure, and all of these, there's like, what was on my slide? 3, 6, 9. I think there's like 12 or 15, full countries have accessibility laws in place now.
Sorry, say the number again.
I think it's like 15. I don't know. There's like a bunch. It's that have it, that where there are laws in place now that so it's like over in Europe and in Israel, right. And in see, that's what I mean. I have to look at the thing. I can't remember, but like there's all these countries where it's now law. The United States. I had a prospective client who I didn't work with because I said, hey, one of the biggest things that is important, for your website is accessibility. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, for the disabled population. He was like, well, I don't give a shit about them. And I went, we're not working together. Oh yeah, like there are people you like. If I tell you half of the conversations that I have during the week, it's like I'm not even shocked anymore.
You know what? Good though, because those are just people you don't need to waste your time on.
No, it weeds them out. It's great. It's like, tell me more.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%. That's how I feel when people didn't understand like diversity, equity, inclusion, and be like, how come on your website it says women and not men too? Men need help too. And I'm like, yes, they do. We're choosing women. Also, men, if they come to us, like I said, happy to take them. I'm just going to put women on my website. So thank you very much. Goodbye.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's mind blowing. They, it's like Black Lives Matter. Well, white lives matter. Yeah. But, white people aren't getting killed every day.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
exactly
what it is. Yes, this is a liberal podcast. Sorry. I'm gay. Oh, sorry. Anyway, but it's like this whole thing that blows my mind because, Kofi, we were having, the night George Floyd got murdered, I called him because I knew he was going to be floored, and we talked, and, he cried, I cried.
Of course.
And he said, you're sitting here talking about me, but you have it worse because you're gay. And I said, what? He goes, well, you're gay. They hate you. I said, dude, I wake up white. They don't 100%. Know. You wake up and they know that you're black. You can't hide that you're black.
Tell you %. Uh-huh.
And not that I'm hiding anything, but
no,
no one's going to know unless I say something.
Right.
And that for me was, the difference. And it was like, and, I've just been like, I've always been an advocate for, I mean, I'm a minority, so anytime I would see any kind of racism going on, anytime I would see anything, I always spoke up. And my wife one day was like, you're going to get shot. And I said, then I'm getting shot doing the right thing. And we have insurance, so you're good. But,
Well, so I live in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very passionate about women's reproductive rights. And
fucking Paxton, sorry,
dude,
all of them. I know. I know.
So every year I would go and go march, and we'd have a big thing. And then I got pregnant, and my husband was like, Ashley, I know that this is super, super important to you, but I cannot sleep knowing that you're going to go march for your own safety and our unborn daughter. Like, I just can't. And like hearing that, I was like, oh my God, he's right. I think that's why I like him sharing that. That's him being vulnerable, and I appreciate it. But the fact that he was right, and it wasn't safe for me to go.
Right.
It wasn't.
Which is crazy. It's like, you think about it. So we have Outfest here every year. And apparently this year, and I'm sure it happens every year, but I was made aware of it, that, there were threats from, the Oath Keepers and Proud Boys and all this shit. And they were going to show up, and, the FBI was involved and all this stuff. And we had a fucking SWAT truck at Outfest, a SWAT mobile. Like, are you kidding me?
It's insane. It's insane. Let people live their lives, man. Who cares?
It's like,
do you not have something better to do? I don't
see, the Catholic Church was smart because they made it about sex. They made it about who's sleeping with who, not about who loves who, because if you bring love in, then you're actually teaching the tenets of Jesus, right?
Right.
But if you talk about sex, then it's going to make it feel icky and all that. And that's what they did. And that's what the extreme right wing, like all of it. So, and to me, it's like, it's about love. And the fact that you have to make it about sex, you need to look at yourself.
Yep.
And worry about your own shit, because obviously there's some stuff going on there that, whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm going to bring it back around to entrepreneurship because, this is, although here's the thing, when you're an entrepreneur, you get to choose who you work with and who you don't.
Yeah. And
you decide. I mean, if you're on the far right side, you could be like, hey, I don't want to work, whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, you get to select the people, but then you also get to select the causes. Like I deeply cared about gender equality. So I built a business to help gender equality. You deeply care about accessibility. You choose to have those services and help people make their websites and all their different things accessible. Like that is the power of entrepreneurship for me.
Yep.
That right there is I am making change. Though small now, it could be massive in the future. Or, I mean, there's no way we'll know the ripple effect. There's no way.
Well, there's always a ripple effect. Anything we do, is a ripple effect. So people are out there listening, who want to become entrepreneurs. What advice would you have for somebody who's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur?
Oh God, go do it. Do it yesterday. Do it yesterday. It is scary and it is exciting and it is wild and it will be the hardest thing that you ever do, but it is so incredibly worth it. I do not regret 1 second of it. Like just the amount of growth, both really, I mean, selfishly, personally that I have made being an entrepreneur is just, I had no idea.
Yep. And I always say, if you ever want to get to know who you really are, become an entrepreneur.
That I love that. I may borrow that because
steal it because it's like you think you know what you're made of, right? And then when the rubber hits the road is when you're kind of going, oh crap. Like I've always been very resilient. I have, I've dealt with trauma from my childhood and all that crap that, helped me develop a thicker skin or, whatever. But man, I remember days where it was like, I have nothing in my pipeline for 3 months.
Yep. Oh,
how in the hell am I going to keep going? And then the universe provides, right? So, or people believe, God, universe, whatever, source, whatever you want to, call it. And then just when you think like, oh shit, now what? Something amazing happens, then, which is like the best feeling.
It is. It's the best feeling. We had a very similar situation this time last year. We grew, we expanded too quickly. I'm a big fan of picking one niche and really focusing in there, especially for a business who are starting out and small businesses, just because there's riches and niches and all the different things. Anyway, we did not do that. So we were not just helping online business managers, but if you needed a marketer, we got a marketer. Oh, you need a developer, we got those. I mean, and it didn't work.
Right.
And we had about 1 month left of runway. And I was in a different organization and my coach was like, Ashley, I want you to go out and have 50 info interviews with people who could need an online business manager, because that was a niche I was thinking about. Because he was in my life, because I asked for help, because he helped connect me to different people who helped me with the info interviews, I gained so much knowledge, so much insight. We redid our website, we redid our offer, we redid everything within 2 months. And and then we had our most profitable month a month later.
She's amazing.
So it was
awesome. Yeah.
The turnaround was amazing, but it was because I was like, yes, universe, I need your help. But I was also asked everyone else I knew.
Right.
Like, you got to take the action.
Yourselves, right. Yes. You have to take the action. Yeah. And for me, it's like, we have a suite of services. And then somebody was like, she does ops. And I was like, maybe we can add that. And I really started thinking about it. And I was like, no, that's not what we do. We do marketing. I do operations because I'm managing everything, but we don't need to offer that as part of our services. All of our services are around creative, right? It's around marketing. It's around video. It's around podcasting. It's around, design. It's around, all the things, but it all goes back to marketing and creative. And that, for me, and creative is in our name because that is what, when we started the company, my last name is Goldfeder. My former partner's, was Shidley, and my wife's is Creeley. And so we were like GSC. Like I knew it was going to be GSC, and I knew the C was creative. Like we had the C down. I was like, I know that's going to be creative. GNS, I have no idea, but at least we knew it was going to be creative. And that was just one of the things that we really kind of stuck with, was always doing the creative piece, because that's where I thrive. I love the creativity. I love the brainstorming. I love I can look at something and I can tell you if it is like 1/100th of a thousandth of an inch off, which is sick. But I mean, I
it's amazing though.
Yeah. It's
That's
just
amazing.
it's just something that, it's a gift that I have. So it drives her nuts, because I'll be like, that picture's crooked. She's like, no, it's not. I'm like, yeah. And then I'll get the level. And she's like, oh my God, just go away. But
off.
It's like, but, or, I hung a shelf and I'm like, doesn't look right. And the level was like a little bit off. So I took a marble and it rolled. Yeah, I'm like completely type A crazy ass when it comes to that stuff. I'm like, oh my God, it doesn't look right. And like with design, right? We'll get like a logo and they'll put logo placement on something. And I'm like, it's not centered. Yeah, it is. Not centered. And then, we open it up in Adobe and they're like, shit. Yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't know.
So you found it. You found what you need to be doing. Oh, I just love it. So I think that's what entrepreneurship really helps you do too, is you really like figure out like where you're supposed to be. Oh, and by the way, it's okay if you fail for your first couple of businesses too.
It's not failing. It's first attempt in learning.
Yes, ma'am.
There you go.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't think we ever fail. I mean, if you fail and then you quit, then you fail.
Sure.
But if you keep going right, then you. So, okay. So people who are listening have gone through obstacles and shit, right? Or they may be going through something now, or you may still be going through something. So what's an obstacle that you've either overcome or, yeah.
So it would definitely be the first one that comes to mind is the one that I was just describing, where we had zero money left because our messaging was all over the place and we had zero focus. And it was my fault. Ultimately, like as a CEO, it's always your fault. But there was another aspect of it that I hadn't shared. And for all of the people, the breastfeeding people out there who are listening, you may be shaking your head, but I had no idea how much of a mind fuck, I think is the medical term, it is when you stop breastfeeding. And so that coincided with this kind of breakdown of, we had no pipeline, we had no runway, we had no focus, our team was falling apart, like everything was falling apart. And I was going through all of this. It was just so much. And I had no one except my business partner, Leah, who's freaking amazing, to talk to about it. Wow. I wasn't in the James yet. And I had no one to talk to about it. And I had no idea what was going on. And I thought something was wrong with me. And no one really talks about you talk about postpartum, like the immediate crash, but no one talks about the other crash. It was just, and so anyway, that was a really, really hard obstacle, because I think as long as your mindset and you have your why set, you can get through any obstacle. But at that time, because of the hormonal stuff I was going through, my why wasn't secure.
Wow. So when you stop breastfeeding, what is that like? You're grieving? Is it like a loss because the connection is gone, or?
I guess, but it's more biological than even emotional. Like I didn't feel like I was grieving. It was more that my hormones were just up and down, up and down, up and down, because it's trying to stop like producing, and then it's confused.
Okay.
And again, I don't really know. So that was even more confusing, because I wasn't having the feelings of grief, like the emotional feelings, but I was having the physical thoughts and the physical feelings of it. It was very bizarre.
Wow.
So bizarre.
See, we didn't have kids, so I don't, understand. Like,
yeah,
I can't empathize with that. I can sympathize with it, but I can't, but in my brain, logically, I can see where there's literally not a connection anymore. And I didn't realize that your body, when you stop, stops producing. I thought that it just, I don't know. It was like, okay, it's done. So there.
Yeah, to be honest, I thought so too. It was my first kid, so I had no idea what was going on. I just thought it was like, meh, like,
wow,
weaning out. No, it was very, very hard for me, very hard. And so again, if your why is there, and if you have people around you who are reminding you of your why, you're solid. There's nothing that you can't handle. If your why is not there anymore, that's what you really have to figure out. Why is it the why? Is it something else that's going on in your life? Do you not care about this thing anymore? Are you changing? Are you growing? Whatever that is.
Right. I think that we're always like growing and evolving. At least I hope we are, right? Because
yeah, we should be.
Right. I mean, 100%. And, for me personally, I think that, hang on, go away from there. Sorry. We have the woods back there, but we have 2 cattle fences up because that's like a whole nother story. And there's like a squirrel in between the two cattle fences. And my dog is trying to figure out how to get over the one fence. And I'm like, no, but now they're coming in. Anyway, so I think that for me personally in my journey, I think, again, I'm just going to go back to the dames.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have met if it wasn't for the dames, right? There's just like when you have a support system, and I have a pretty good support system here. Like, my friend Michelle that I always talk about, we laugh because she's like my muse and my brainstormer. So when we started the podcast, the day before the first episode, I had like a mini meltdown because I'm like, I have no way to end it. I don't know what I don't know what to say when I end it. So I call her and she sent me a text back and I'm like, 911, this is important. So she calls me and she's like, what friend? And I said, where are you? And she goes, in my garage. I'm like, okay, so here's what's going on. And I told her and we worked it out and I was like, okay, I figured it out. But, having that, like if I didn't have that,
right,
I would have been like you could have put me away at that point because I was so like freaking out about doing the podcast in the first place.
Yep.
And then B, not having, because I started like listening because I really didn't listen to podcasts before, like maybe 1 or 2, and but then it was like listening to it for ideas, and everybody always had some kind of, an outro. So, but so she was helpful with that. But, I have friends, and then there are other people that, and this was the other piece, right? It doesn't have to be competitive. It can be collaborative. No.
Yes.
And people don't get that.
I know. And I don't understand why, I don't understand why there is so much abundance out there. And quite frankly, even if me and someone else do the exact same thing, we're going to deliver it in different ways and you're going to select the person. Exactly. You may not like me and that's cool.
Right. Although I don't know who wouldn't like you, but there
are quite a few.
I'm there with you. So, but you're right. It's like, and I spoke to a few people and it was like, hey, we should probably collaborate and talk because if there's somebody who's not right for me, if there's somebody who's not right for you, maybe they could be right for each of us.
Exactly.
It's like, no, you're going to steal my clients. And it's like, I don't want your client, especially the client base that you're going after. I promise I don't want them, and it was just like when I first started it, a friend of mine who has her own business here, and I'm not going to mention names, but I was so excited that I was going to do this on my own. Yeah. And so I called and I said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I'm super excited. I'm starting like my own little, marketing thing. And she was really quiet. And I'm like, why are you quiet? And she's like, well, now we're competition. And I said, what are you talking about? Well, you're going to take everything that I taught you. Number one, you didn't teach me everything. there were some things that, yes, I did learn from her, but she didn't teach me everything that, I knew.
Yeah.
And you're going to use that to take my clients. And I went, wow. And I said to her, how about Iris? That is so great. I am so happy for you. Let me know
What I can do.
what I can do. Maybe we can collaborate. But okay, I get it. You know what? I'm sorry. And we haven't talked since. And that's 10 years. And we'll see each other once in a while and be like, hey, but
that's so
it's sad. It's like so
silly. It's just, it's so draining and not worth it. It's just, so all of this is reminding me of this book that I really like, but do you have those books where you're, I don't know, 4/5 of the way done and you just like can't make yourself finish?
Yes.
Anyway, that's this book for me. It is called Who Not How. Have you heard of it?
Oh, no.
So it's basically what we're talking about, how it's so important to look at your business don't worry about how you get something done, but who do you know that can get it done? And that's really their zone of genius, and partner with them, pair with them, hire them, whatever it is, so that you deliver a better end result. And so this one example is so good, I thought. So there these two women, one of them was writing a biography about her aunt or grandma or something. And someone else was also writing that biography on that woman's aunt. And the other woman was a published author and a professional researcher and has done this a million times over. And the woman who it was her aunt, it was a passion project, but because it was a passion project, it kept falling on the wayside. And she started getting so competitive, like, oh my God, she's going to write the biography before me, the other woman. And she stopped. And the author of the book was like, spoke with her and was like, you need to partner. You're not getting this done. You can share all the touchy-feely personal aspect of your grandmother's life, and this other woman can come in with all of her research prowess, but I'm sure, and really make a knockout product and co-author it. And that example was so brilliant to me. I was like, yes, 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 yes. That's how we need to be thinking about life. That's how we think about business. Point blank.
Yeah. I mean, I think that when you find people that compliment you, right?
Yeah.
With an E, it can be really powerful. It's like, we do two different things, but I am sure somewhere that there is a way for there to be collaborative. Like I know it. So, but people don't think of it that way. And I think anytime I meet somebody, I think of who I can introduce them to.
Yes.
And I've been lackadaisical on that lately, but who I can introduce them to. Is there a fit with, us? Right. And if there's, not a fit with us, how can I help you? Like, those are the things that go through my brain. Like, I never think of, oh my God, you do the same thing as me. So we can never talk, because if we talk, then somebody that I know is going to be like, oh, wow, maybe she's better than her. And what is that even? Like, I can't anymore. It's crazy.
Insane. And I love that you brought up being complimentary. So first 3 years of the business, which I have a ton of wounds that I could really openly share about that.
Wine and Zoom.
We built our matching technology. So when we match our OBMs with our CEOs, we looked at all of the behavior science of what makes a good match between the visionary mindset and work style and the integrator mindset and work style. So we built this technology that's like LinkedIn meets eHarmony. And it's fascinating. It's fascinating when you really just look at the data of what makes two different people tick, and how they have to have just enough in common and just enough not in common to work seamlessly together.
Wow. Do you know Allison O'Brien?
The name sounds kind of familiar.
She's I'm gonna connect you after this podcast, because she does this thing on communication.
Ooh.
She does like a communication assessment, and anyway. See what I mean? It's like,
look at you.
So, okay. Oh crap. We're like either at an hour or over an hour. It doesn't matter. Kofi's like, where we over? Shake, yes. Are we on? Because I know we started late. So he's like, whatever. Okay. So, okay. So what is your differentiator? Like, if there are other people out there that are kind of doing what you're doing, what makes you different besides you being amazing you? So, and I'm just saying.
So
go ahead. I'll
when starting Prowess, Leah and I sat down and we're like, if we're going to do this, we are going to be super intentional about it. And what that means to us is exactly what I just described in our matching technology. We're not going to say, hey, you need a marketer who uses Kajabi. Here is your marketer who uses Kajabi. No, that does not make a good work relationship, team partnership. No. That is why we spent so much time really figuring out what makes people tick and what makes people compatible in working together. And because we use so much data with that, and because we had this deep mission to help caregivers, we see that people come to us for one reason and stay with us for the other. So they love how quickly they can get vetted online business managers who match directly to them. And then they hear about the mission and they're like, oh, hell yeah. Or vice versa.
There you go. So, and where can people find you?
prowessproject.com, or we're at Prowess Project on all the socials, all the things.
That is amazing. So anybody out there listening, if you're a CEO and you're wondering, what can I do? Reach out to Ashley and get yourself an online business manager. I knew that, and I had to look again just because I just wanted to make sure that it was right. Because it's important. It's important for as CEOs to get support that we need, but not just support that we need, to be matched with the right freaking person.
Yes.
That is huge. And don't use eHarmony, use Match, because eHarmony is homophobic.
No way.
Oh yeah, they don't. They will not match gay couples.
Are you kidding?
They are a Christian-based company. No, I am not.
I had no idea.
Unless they changed. But when we were messing around, Heather and I were just, going, okay, we're just going to throw some shit on there. And they were like, we don't do that.
Wow. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. That makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. So, like I said, they might have changed, but they might not have. And I don't even know, like, what the hell is out there anymore, because I haven't been single for over 20 years. So like I said, they could have, but, anyway, actually maybe cut that piece out, Cove, because I said eHarmony and then maybe, so let's just bleep that out. I don't want to get sued. Now that's libel. You were saying blah, blah, blah. I'm serious. So whatever time we're at, 1:15. So from like 1:10, we could talk about it. We'll figure it out. Or can you bleep it out? Shake your head. Yes. You can go beep when I say the name of the company. Okay, there we go. Then we're fine.
Great. Amazing.
Amazing. So, all right. Well, thank you so much. So Annie Ruggles said to my wife, I am in love with your wife in a completely non-sexual platonic way. And that is how I feel about you. I am madly in love with you in a completely non-threatening platonic way. You are just like amazing. You're my fucking spirit animal. And I think we're going to be like friends for life. So
you have no idea how big of a compliment that is. Like, I'm going to be walking on like clouds for the rest of the day. Thank you.
Your husband. I had a lesbian tell me that she was in love with me in a completely platonic, non-threatening, creepy way.
He's going to have a lot of questions. I guarantee lots of follow-ups.
We can join our wine and Zoom for a few minutes.
Yeah.
So hang on one second. I'm going to say goodbye and I'll be right back to you. So everybody, gosh, I hope you had as much fun during this as we did, because clearly we had fun. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening and always hanging in for an hour plus, supporting us. Keep those downloads coming. Share, like, subscribe. When you subscribe, you get a notification of a new episode. When you share, more people hear about us, and then our numbers raise. And we really want our numbers to raise because we want sponsorships. But that's another story for another day. But I appreciate each and every one of you that are listening and doing all the things. And until next time. Oh, wait. I got to go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Okay, I'm going to go back. I didn't ask you the most important question.
Oh, dear.
What lights your fire? Personal, professional, whatever.
In not like the Varsity Blues, like a high school type way, I am the ultimate cheerleader. I absolutely love helping people realize, like, holy fuck, you're amazing. I love doing that. If I could do that all day, every day, I would. That's what lights my fire.
Awesome. That's amazing. Okay, now I'm going to go back to saying goodbye. Okay, so that's like, see, I was so immersed in this and it's the first time in over 60 episodes that I almost forgot to ask that question. And I think it's the most important thing. But until we see each other again, go out and find what lights your fire. See ya.